Today is 391st day that I come here to share lessons that I learn and I'm learning, and I hope those lessons will support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I want to speak about confession and being able to say, I am sorry. I truly believe that I am sorry is essential words that every single person needs to learn how to say it. How many times you have said, I am sorry? And if you say that only a few times, I truly believe that you do not understand the power of I'm sorry. I truly believe that every single person makes a lot of mistakes. And sometimes we do not take ownership and we do not admit. Like I'm guilty of that as well, like 100%. And we need to take ownership and admit that we made a mistake. And when you admit, you're able to say, I am sorry. So why so many people are afraid to say I'm sorry? Because a lot of times people are afraid of judgment, because if they made a mistake, maybe they will be judged. But when you are able to admit that you made a mistake and you say, I'm sorry, you're able to save a lot of relationships. Because I truly believe that relationships are built on trust foundation, and you're not able to have trust if you're not able to admit mistakes, if you're not able to say, I'm sorry. So if you want to have amazing relationships, I'm sorry, those words are essential. What I found that a lot of time we are not able to say I'm sorry because we start looking for excuses. For example, you need to go to a meeting and you're late to the meeting, so what people tend to say, oh, I was late because traffic was bad. But we're living in the 21st century. Traffic is not uncommon. Like there's a lot of times that there is a lot of traffic, so that means we chose the time wrong. That means that we didn't expect a little bit of traffic, but there will be a traffic. And if that traffic comes very often, we're supposed to expect a little bit of traffic. So that means you need to take ownership and you would need to say, I'm sorry, I didn't choose my time well. I will never do that again. I will show up on time next time. So that means next time you come early to show up at the meeting. Of course, it could be one-off accidents when everything shuts down and you're not able to make it happen, and that is for hours, that accident. But majority of the time, it's very common that people have traffic. Other thing that people do and they do not say I'm sorry is that they start avoiding people, and that is worst. That means that when you made a mistake and you know that you made a mistake, you don't want to look into other person's eyes and say, I am sorry. You don't want to admit that. So you start avoiding that person. And then what happens when you avoid that person? Of course, the relation is breaking apart. So that means you need to be able to say, I'm sorry, and not to avoid person. And I find myself as well, sometimes people have a tendency to say that, okay, I will be able to do something, and they commit to something, but they are not able to really do the things that they committed to, so you start avoiding. But sometimes you just need to say, come there to see that person, say, I'm sorry, I expect that I will be able to do it, but I'm not able to, and that was my mistake, I will never do that again, and then move forward. So that means you still be able to keep that relationship. Third thing that I found that people are not able to say I'm sorry to, because they blame, they are hurt, and they start blaming other people. Oh, I did it because of that person. I did it because you did that. So that means they start to blame and pointing fingers at different things. But if you really want to create relations, you need to take ownership of your action, of your current station, of your current mistake. Because if you start blaming all other people, all your circumstances because of what you did, you will never be able to have a really amazing relationships. What I found about forgiveness, when some person says I'm sorry, there's one thing that essentially needs to be I'm sorry. You need to say I'm sorry, I will never do that again. If you just say I'm sorry, that means that most likely you will do that again, so you will never be forgiven. But if you say I am sorry, I will never do it again, that means that person knows that you changed, you will never do that again. That means that he is able to forgive you for the things that you did. So that means every time when you say I'm sorry, make sure that you understand that you have been changed and you will never do it again. It's interesting for me when I was learning a lesson about forgiveness is that a lot of times people take one hurt for 10 years, keep that hurt for 10, 15, 20 years, even though that when a friend did some mistake that made you hurt, that version of your friend doesn't exist anymore, and the version of you that got hurt doesn't exist anymore as well. So that means your past hurt, your friend's past hurt you, but that means you are able, your current you are able to forgive the current person of your friend. So it means such a powerful lesson that I learned that your current person, you have changed a lot and you have told different perspective. So you're able to look into the past experience and the past hurts and say, this is my past me hurt, but my current me could say that this is not hurt anymore. So you're able to forgive your past experiences. I find it is very, very powerful, and you're able to forgive. You're able to move forward, because there is probably have heard saying that when you are not able to forgive, it's like drinking poison and thinking that your enemy will die. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. We need to forgive and move forward. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.